This is going to sound so bad, what I'm about to say. I said, I just want to party and I want to die at 40. I'm born to dance and party. I'm a rebel. I'm a fucking rock star. Let's go. My dad, you can imagine, you fucking work or you get out. Your case will be at the fucking door.
Yeah.
So I moved in at my nan's when I was 19. She said, any rule you've been taught, fuck it. Now, I've been taught the rules. You're a chav and you should amount to nothing. That's the rule I thought that I had to follow.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, what if I fucked that rule off? And whatever the opposite of a nervous breakdown is, happened to me that day. It was like someone reached around and went like that. Yeah. I can remember the feeling. I wrote it in my diary. I went, today is the day I changed my life.
I mean, this is absolutely amazing.
So I like deep emotional stand-up, and I'm not you blowing my own trumpet here, but the messages I'm getting at the moment, because the subject matter I'm exploring, from women telling me about how their husbands have gone home and changed aspects of their life and mental health based on stuff that I've said, right, whilst like hurting people with laughter. That's my USP.
Yes. Deep,
emotional, intelligent, but accessible to anyone. You know, I don't use any long words or highfalutin
concepts. It's accessible because of your background. You're kind of conscious of...
I'm translating, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking to everyone because of your background. Because, you know, normally, I think it's fair to say, normally someone that would go on and win the Edinburgh Award, that show would tend not to be for... a mass audience.
Correct.
And I really think it's interesting that with your background and then where you kind of, that journey that we've been on and being an extremely, not well-spoken in terms of your accent. But,
bookish.
Yeah.
Well-read.
Yeah.
So, it's really...
And a large vocabulary, but you're still conscious of talking to everyone, and that's...
Well, my favourite novelists... So I'm like, say like someone like Russell Brand, everything else aside, he's like the opposite of me. So he works with really simple ideas, but he complicates them with, depending on your view, ugly or beautifully floral language on top.
Yeah.
I hate novels like that. I like authors like Murakami, who's dealing with really deep, massive concepts, but is using a language that could go in the fucking Hungry Caterpillar to convey it.
Yeah.
Ernest Hemingway, I love. Iris Murdoch, I love. Evelyn Waugh, I love. I'm making a series about it. So my stand-up aspires to use crystalline, clear, or bawdy, or even disgusting, chavvy language.
Yeah.
Underneath it is a lake of emotion and ideas that you feel and appreciate but through a simple layer on top.
Yes.
And that's through my 19 to 28 life as well, has helped me with that. But that show you're talking about, that one, is so funny how accidents happen, because just before that, I was doing well already. I've been nominated a couple of times.
You won a few competitions.
And I've been nominated for the Newcomer, and I've been nominated for the Edinburgh Comedy Award 3 times. And I did a few gigs with Russell Howard. And then I was on stage. Don't get me wrong, I was smashing it. But then in the car, they were crying, laughing when I was telling them, guess what my dad said? My dad did this. And Russell Howard I bet he doesn't even remember doing this. He put his hand on my arm and he went, why the fuck are you doing the funniest stuff in the car, and your stuff which is still funny but not as funny on stage? He went, reverse it. I was like, he's going to be interested in hearing about my dad. I was doing observational funny stuff like I still do. And so I went on and did one story about my dad, and I thought, well, how can anyone relate to it? Fuck me, it killed. So the next night I did 20 minutes just about my dad. And I thought, what would 60 minutes about my old man sound like? Who'd been dead 6 years at this point. So I was keeping him alive on stage. My dad does. So I got this show together, 60 minutes, started previewing it, and fucking Avalon, who I was with at the time, were like, fucking
You're right,
up.
this is your comedy agency.
They were like, this is a fucking, get this to Edinburgh. I got to Edinburgh, and 2 nights before, a journo, what does your dad think? And every interview I had to go, oh, he's been dead 6 years. And they were, oh, God, I'm so sorry. And I thought, I'm lying here. I'm lying. I'm pretending he's alive on stage. And I thought, I'm going to get, is that weird? Are people going to think I'm mental for using the present tense about my dad? And the night before it opened, the show in Edinburgh on August the 4th, so I'd done all these previews. It was polished. I phoned my agent. I went, I'm going to reveal he's dead at the end and do like a sad ending. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a spotlight and I'm going to do his voice going, this comedy lark is a load of shit, and gradually change into the past tense as though my dad is speaking from heaven and I'm going to slowly reveal his death to the audience. And I thought, what a great ending. That's a bit Edinburgh-like, isn't it? She went, yeah, that's great, that. It's a bit risky, you haven't previewed it.
Cha-ching.
Went out on the first night, the audience cried. They went from laughing to, and I was like, what the fuck? I've never made anyone cry before on stage. And of course, you can imagine all the critics started wanking each other off in a circle jerk.
Yeah.
And apparently it was...
Well, it sounds very powerful. Sounds,
but I just thought,
very
am I
moving.
going to win this? But apparently I was the winner from like the first view. So that it was
surprised.
completely accidental fear of being exposed as a liar, that my dad was actually dead, that made me put that twist in.
Yes.
And then I realised, now I've done a twist with every show now. There's always a twist. There's always a sad twist in all my shows. That became my thing.
A sad twist.
Sometimes. The current
tour, there's a sad twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then a one-liner sort of ties it all together that makes everyone laugh at the end. But by then everyone's in snot.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So you mentioned lots of authors there, and we skipped to you like Hemingway and whatnot. But so we've not actually bridged the kind of Russell at secondary school to this person who went to go on and be extremely well read and. So what happened? How do we get from secondary school doing okay?
Yeah, I think
there? How did GCSEs?
To an A, a B, and 3 Cs, and the rest D's.
I mean, do you know what? No, that's so. If you had asked me before this and said what did Russell get? I go A's. The guy just got A's, and he probably, because of the way his brain works, maybe got like an ungraded in something that just
A, B, 3 C.
It didn't entertain him.
And
but
all the
C's,
rest, E's,
I can't believe C's
fails, E's, F's, just complete waste of my time. Didn't study, didn't revise. It's interesting because I did a podcast with Paul Whitehouse recently about
is this the ADHD one?
And he had to interview my mum, and my mum was like, but Russell's concentration was amazing. He used to sit revising for hours. I wasn't revising. I was pretending to revise. I was just colouring or going on the computer and then sitting back at the desk when my mum walked in. She still believes it, bless her. So I had to break it to her literally this year. I didn't revise. I did nothing, mum. I did fuck all.
So you got an A
in English,
but without
in English
doing any of the revision.
That was English language. So English literature, I got a B because I just retained books so easily. But the rest was just a waste of time.
I just fluke you in this retaining the things that you.
I just love stories
because I can't, for the life of me, retain anything.
I think if you're
that I read.
I think if you're interested in, if I told you a bit of gossip now about a comedian who done something backstage at the Comedy Store, and gave you the details, you wouldn't get home and go, I can't remember who did it or what he did. You would you'd be like, you're never going to guess what Bobby Spangles did. You would know it. That's when I get into a story, it goes into that part of my brain. Whether it's a James Bond novel. I just love stories. So anyway, so I leave with just enough to do A-levels at the local college, which is great because that's where everyone went to smoke weed and get high in the car park. So I knew I had 2 more years of being unemployed and being a lazy fuck, which I had discovered and loved.
Yeah. And you're not. You and your friends aren't thinking anywhere past this, are you?
I was the only one.
Any sense of what you're going to do?
No, none of them. None of them got enough GCSEs to do that. I was the only one.
Oh wow!
They all became electricians or unemployed or whatever.
And did you know did you have any idea what it was that you were?
This is going to sound so bad, what I'm about to say, but it was not done in a depressive way. I've never had any mental health issues unless you count sort of temper regulation. I said, I want to just, I love house music, right? I just want to party and I want to die at 40. Not in a, that was the plan.
That was the plan.
That was the fucking plan.
That's a terrible plan, by the way.
It was the plan. I'm not even joking. I said, I'm just going to get high and dance, and I don't care about living past 40. I'm born to dance and party. I'm a rebel. I'm a fucking rock star. Let's go. I be for every year. And that was as far as my thinking went.
Yeah.
I'd caught the dance music bug.
What did they say about that at the careers advice?
Well, they had no idea what to do. One of them told me to be a fireman because maybe they thought I liked risk or something. So that was the plan. My dad, you can imagine, you fucking work or you get out. Your case will be at the fucking door. So I thought, he can't get me if he thinks I'm doing A-levels. So that bought me 2 years of skiving. For A-levels, I got a D and 2 N's. which means
I've never heard of ends.
N is when you nearly get a grade, you nearly get an E, but you didn't quite get an E. So it's not a fail. It's in between a pure fail and an E. And
It's quite unnecessary, doesn't it, the N?
Yeah.
I nearly got it. I didn't
but
need
what I
to know
didn't
that.
realise was I was growing through some of the psychedelics people were experimenting with, and my continued use of humour with my nearly adult brain. I was growing that lateral surreal part. I had no idea. I thought I wasn't studying. I was studying something. So here I find, and then I get spat out of that at 18. Now I really am fucked.
And do you have A levels?
I've got 2 Ds and an N.
Oh, sorry, that's in the. Yes, sorry, I was
D2
still
Ns.
thinking the GCSEs. Yes.
So I get spat out. So now I'm 18.
Did you
right?
tell us what you did? Do you have to choose? You have to choose your subjects, don't you?
I did sociology, media studies, and English.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Media studies, I think, was the D, and then I got the other D was English, and then the fail was not sociology. Sorry, I can't even remember what I did. History, maybe. I fuck knows. Oh shit, that's bad, isn't it? English, media studies, and something else that I've forgotten. It was so shite.
Oh, no.
Sociology is what saved me.
Okay.
So now I'm 18, and this is my dad. This is my dad's mortal enemy. Unemployed, someone who's working themselves to death. And he said, I won't use the racist language. If I smell any of that N-word shit in my house, I'll fucking throw you out. You don't smoke it. Yeah, fucking you get a job. Fucking now it's starting to get more and more toxic. So I had to work. So I got a job selling watches, Rolex watches on Bond Street in a jeweler's sales, which I was great at, selling watches to posh people.
So all right. So was there a kind of part of performing in that?
Yeah, I loved
being
it.
a salesman.
Loved it. I was great at it.
Being a comedian is
Learned a lot.
There's
amazing. And I start falling in love, get dumped by my first girlfriend. I start falling in love with a girl from work. And we're just at the stage of hand holding and kissing. And she said to me, look, I've got to tell you something. I've only recently split up with my ex who I knew about, who happened to be of Caribbean heritage. And she went, I've missed my period and I don't know if I'm pregnant. And I was like, fucking hell, that's heavy. I really like this girl. So that night I went home to my mum. I was like, what do I do? I've started seeing this girl. I really like her. We haven't slept together, but we've kissed. And she's told me this. My mum, sorry if you're watching, mum, went straight to my old man. And my old man said, I will not have her in the house. She will not enter she's white, this girl. She will not enter my property. And I was like, but Dad, I'm paying you 150 quid a month keep to live in this house out of my fucking 500 quid a month I was earning or whatever. I should be allowed to at least have a cup of tea in the garden with someone, friend. You fucking ain't paid for shit. This is my fucking house. I make the rules. So I said, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move out today. And I went upstairs, packed my bag, took it with me to work, and went home from work to my nan's, the mental alcoholic Joyce, that night across the park. I moved in at my nan's when I was 19 into a proper council flat across the park, and that's where I lived. Now, my nan, who obviously was a nightmare mum to my mum and my aunties and uncles, was exactly what I fucking needed at that point, because she said, any rule you've been taught, fuck it. Now, I've been taught the rules. You're a chav and you should amount to nothing. That's the rule I thought that I had to follow.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, what if I fucked that rule off? So something's starting to bubble. My nan, I've never met anyone like her in my life. She's the only person who spoke back to my dad. I got dumped by that girl who I'd moved out over.
Yeah.
And I was crying on the floor, crying. Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
And my nan, I couldn't even skin up. I was that upset. And my nan put my dinner down. And most nans would give you a cuddle. And she looked at me. And I still use this phrase to the day. She looked at me and she went, laugh and the world laughs with you. Cry and you're a cunt. Now get up. Fuck her dirty knickers. That's the next thing she said. Fuck her dirty knickers. Right? So I
sound like a really angry Michael Kane.
It was fucking unreal. I was like, she's right. You can choose to laugh about it. I was living in a box room. There wasn't even room for a wardrobe. I had sticky hooks on the wall for my clothes that I got from the co-op because there was no room. There was just room for a single bed. My nan had disability toilet and disability bath. So I literally had to be lowered into the bath. There's no shower. I had to be lowered on a cripple lift, as my nan called it. Take the cripple lift, boy, have a bath. Best cooking I've ever had. my nan, I don't know if our mums and aunties know this, but my nan used to get the weed. There's weed in the drug cup, love. That's what I used to come home like some fucked up Walton's remix. Your weed's in the drug cup, shepherd's pie, I'll be 10 minutes. So
oh my God. This is like me as a teenager. This is my dream.
It's
as
fucking
a
unreal. So now, no going out, no hanging out, dangerous play. All my friends had a safe place to come.
Right.
We all watched telly. We didn't drink. We smoked. No one was ever hurt. No fights. No one ever went to hospital. No one overdosed on anything because it fucking was just harmless bit of green, proper granddad Jamaican weed. None of us smoked.
Sounds like Joyce was growing it herself.
We had a rental.
Might have been a bit of a dealer.
She was obviously an alcoholic. She was fucked, so she would smoke weed, and we had to put £1 in the telly to watch it. Literally had to put money in the rental telly and it would cut off. So many funny things. My nan obviously was a bad alcoholic, so she would go to bed about 6 p.m. But now and again she would once she emerged at 8 p.m. and we were all there watching, I don't know, The Word or something at 10 p.m. And she came out and went in a circle. I had 6 friends over. You're a cunt, you're a cunt, you're a cunt, you're a cunt, and then to me, and you're the biggest cunt, and went back to bed. We loved her. So this is
eloquent.
So this is where I am now. So I'm going further down the chav hole. I'm taking more substances that I shouldn't at the weekend. I'm partying harder. I'm living life hand to mouth for the weekend. And then the thing happens that turned it round.
Okay. Yeah. And it is.
So I'm single now.
Because this is so removed in this kind of montage that you've given us. This is so removed from Russell Kane,
but I was happy.
The stand-up comedian. Yeah, I know.
And that's
absolutely.
the danger. The danger is I was so happy.
That's the danger.
I was like, I don't know how I'm built different. There was no hangovers. I wasn't getting depression on a Wednesday. By the time I got to Wednesday, I was like, Strawberry Sundays. That's where I went. Strawberry Sundays, Vauxhall.
Lucky, yeah.
Anyone watching, shout out to Strawberry Sundays under the fucking arches in Vauxhall. Hard house.
We are genetically opposite. I want to do the test because we are at completely.
Do you know what? I've always known my limits. Even with alcohol, I can have a drink and go, that's it. Anymore, I'm going to be ill.
Again,
so
we are opposite.
Yes, I think my body I just rate opposite.
I now don't drink at all.
Yeah, so I'm the opposite to my nan, who was just like, if it's fucking take it till it's gone. I'm not like that.
Yeah,
a non-smoker, even though I lived with a cloud of Embassy filter on the ceiling, and my nan smoked 60 a day. Anyway, so it was one normal Saturday, one Strawberry Sundays weekend. We're all out. We're all at the rave. 5 in the morning, because you had to stay to the end to wait for the tubes to start because we couldn't afford taxis home. So I was always there for the last tune at the weekend rave. And across the smoke comes a girl, honestly, about an inch taller than me, about 5'11", clearly like model.
Through the smoke?
For all the smokes and
like
the lasers.
Beth.
Yeah, I'm like, I love dancing. I've always been a good dancer,
Okay.
natural like pub dancer, if you like, wedding dancer. I'm fucking raving my tits off. She came across and, Posh, I just love the way you dance. Here's my number. It's like that quality of woman does not put her number in your hand, but it happened to me. Get home.
So can you show us these moves?
Can
I see these moves?
Get home. Phone the number at 7 a.m. straight away because I knew everyone would still be awake for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
She answers it straight away. I've got my own landline in my bedroom. My mum and dad put it in there. Speak straight away. I fucking virtually fell in love with her over the phone. The next week met her at the rave. We shagged. That was it. It was like the most 19-year-old dangerous Bonnie and Clyde vomiting, so in love. I would have killed myself so she could live. And
yes,
she's 18. I'm 19, so I'm 1 year older than her. And she says I'm going to uni in September, and I'm like, please, in London. I was like, oh fucking yes. So we get to September. My life doesn't change. I'm selling watches. I'm getting off my tits. But now, when we leave the rave, we don't have to go back to my nan's horrific box room and shag in weird silence. We can go back to university halls and shag as loud as we like.
Oh, I didn't know people made noise.
Yeah. So we start staying in halls. And the next morning I would wake up and I'm in my cheap fucked suit going off to sell watches to posh kids, which I was already a bit angry about, seeing posh people living their posh perfect lives.
Yes.
And I'm in my Burton suit like an old man on the fucking 6:05 train. And she's sleeping in and then wandering across the lawn to read literature and drink beers with other boys that look like me, same height, same looks. I'm gonna read this book and sit on the lawn. I've got a lecture at 11. I don't have any today. I'm just gonna get pissed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got it in my diary. I went down to my tea break that morning and I wrote, oh my fucking God, I've been conned. I have been conned by the accident of my postcode and birth and pushed into the fucking system as a chavvy worker. Whereas if I'd just been given the guidance to do a GC, I'd be sat with those posh twats, drinking cider and getting up at 10 a.m. And I lost my temper. And whatever the opposite of a nervous breakdown is, happened to me that day. It was like someone reached around and went like that. Yeah. I can remember the feeling. They plugged the two things in. I wrote it in my diary. I was in the smoking room at work, so I used to pretend to smoke so I could get an extra 15-minute break. And I wrote it. I went, today is the day I changed my life. I went home that night and we couldn't, even though the internet existed, we couldn't afford it. I found out there was something called the National Extensions College where you can get sent A-levels through a box. You can redo your A-levels at home and try to get into uni. And I thought, I'm going to fucking do that. I want to get off my tits and be given books and do posh things and hang around with posh cunts.
So, I mean, this is absolutely amazing, but it sounds like it's almost the first time that you've got an idea that there is a class system out there, because in Enfield,
correct,
we're all the same, and you'll come out and you go, hang on a second, I don't have much.
I was furious. I was so fucking angry, and it caused problems with the girl I was seeing. I was resented her lovely life and her parents. It made me it's terrible, and it made the relationship a bit toxic. I was jealous. Jealous is the word. Yeah, straight up jealous. And so I reached out to this National Extensions College, who now have a scholarship in my name because I'm so passionate about them. I didn't have internet, and they sent me 3 boxes for A-level sociology. And they were like, right, you're fucked because you've got no A-levels. But if you can get to 21, you can go in as a mature student and you will need 1 A-level. And I'm like, well, I'm 19 and a half. This is perfect. I enrolled in this sociology A-level. Of all the A-levels to pick, I picked it because it looked vaguely interesting. I started reading about class, feminism, racism, Marxism. Mate, I got so fucking angry. It was like it's like Truman Show at the end. I ripped through the paper of working classness, and the whole thing was a fake show put on for bellends like me who are willing to believe it. It's bollocks. If I could go down the mental gym and lift weights 5 times a week, I could outperform Eton if I want. I could. I didn't realise. I started learning this sociology and I couldn't stop. And I didn't give up one rave. I didn't give up one session at the weekend. I was getting in from work at 7 p.m. and I was working till 10. Then I was having my Yorkshire pudding or whatever, or my sausage toad or whatever my nan had made. 3 hours a night. And I was the fastest enrolment, from enrolment to exam sit of that year. 8 months it took me. From my first page, you're supposed to do 2 years full-time on an A-level. It took me 8 months part-time to angrily absorb what was in these boxes. I then went to Enfield College and went, I need to sit as an external student when you're doing the A-levels that summer. So I had to sit on a humiliating extra table to show I wasn't really part of the college, but so an invigilator could check I wasn't cheating. And I sat those exams and I got the highest and fastest A grade recorded that year. I got taken to the House of Commons where I was given an award from Betty Boothroyd for outstanding academic achievement.
You were winning awards before comedy.
Mate.
This is not good for
But the thing is, what you're talking about,
self-esteem.
What you're talking about with what I just did when you see me do on stage, it's the same thing. I couldn't turn it off. I got the A-level, but then I couldn't get to uni and just be a pisshead because I was like, well, now I'm going to get the highest grades on each module. And I did. First.
So there's an adrenaline to that.
I have no idea. Is
there a kick? You get a kick out of that when you're doing that, when you're achieving these grades?
It was like someone, you know, like the sun is going to burn for 4 billion years and burn out. Something was lit in me that started burning, and I don't know how long it's going to burn for, but whatever it is has got a massive fuel source because it's today. So I sit here, knackered at the end of the day, doing another podcast that I could have just gone to my house.
I apologise.
I can't turn that off. I physically cannot switch this energy source off.
Right, quick break from Class Clown because I think it's important that we discuss underwear. Don't know about you, but I wear it. Adam?
Yes, currently.
You wear it?
Yeah.
Now tell me, what kind of underwear do you wear?
I wear sheath underwear.
What's the fit? What do you go for?
Well, I'm quite a gym goer, so what I like is...
What's that got to do with it?
I don't like anything that's too tight, but also you don't want anything too loose.
Okay,
So you
why?
want to-
What kind of things are you doing at the gym?
Well, jumping around, you've seen the guys in the grey joggers and you...
Looks like something's trying to escape.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly, yeah.
So Sheath kind of cuts down on that.
Yeah, well, they were one of the first sponsors for UFC.
And
So,
you don't want your bits flapping about during a UFC fight.
not when you're rolling around on a mat with a man.
Absolutely not.
You want that stuff contained.
Yes.
They've got this whole like pouch system going on in there.
What's the pouch system? So
Well-
it's not like any other underwear.
No, it's not like any other underwear I've ever worn. That's why they've become my favourites.
Right.
Yes. It's innovative.
Right, if you like the sound of that, and I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, if you don't, I don't really want you listening to the pod.
No, get out. Get out.
Come on.
Yeah.
Go to sheath.com and use the promo code ClassClown for your 20% discount. That's huge.
Huge.
Sheath.com. Now, you know when you try to break a habit and you think it's going to take loads of effort, money, and some complicated system. I always assumed it had to be hard. Turns out it doesn't. If you're ready to quit vaping, and you should be, it's a filthy habit. I stopped it. It was horrendous. The first step doesn't need to be hard or expensive. You just need the right tool to start. And that's exactly what Fume Zero gives you. Fume Zero provides the hand-to-mouth satisfaction and sensory feedback your old habit did without the guilt or, quite crucially, the chemicals. This episode is sponsored by Fume Zero. That's Fume, pronounced Fume, spelled F-U-M. It's their brand new grab-and-go flavoured air device, and that's why I think it's brilliant. It's completely clean, zero nicotine. That's why I'm allowing it to sponsor our podcast. Zero vapor, zero batteries, just natural plant-based flavoured air. And it's affordable too, starting at only $24.99. It's got a sleek look and feel, modern and very satisfying to hold. You can even adjust the airflow, which is nice. Tailors the experience exactly how you want it. The flavours are incredible, good flavours. Let me just open one now. I've got some here. I'm going for white cranberry. Oh, that's nice. I actually like that. Oh, I might wear that because they do perfume. So if you want to make a simple change, and you should, vaping is bad for you, start here. Take zero chances with Fume Zero today, available for $24.99. Hit the link in the episode description or head to tryfume.com. That's TRYFUM.com to start with Zero. I thoroughly recommend get off the vape.
So I went to this uni. You got to remember, these are all private school kids, way ahead of me.
Yes.
I didn't even know who Jane Austen was at this point.
No.
So as well as doing the literature on the course, I was reading extra novels in the evening to catch up my literacy. And then I'd get in the room and someone would go, who thinks that Mr. Darcy finds Elizabeth Bennet impudent? Never heard that word. What does it mean? So I've got the intelligence and the drive, but I don't have the software. So what I did was, you're going to think this is fucking mental. I started reading anything I could get: Jane Austen, Charlotte Bronte, Emile Zola, Gustave Flaubert. And every time I encountered a word I didn't know the meaning of, I wrote it on an index card. And I've used the word impudent because it was card number 1. I had 5,000 cards in the end. And there was no internet, so I had to. It could be impudence, impudence. You can make a fucking dick of yourself. So I had to learn the diacritic alphabet to teach myself pronunciation of English. Impudence, first syllable, and then it's cognates. Impudently, impudence, impudently. It's adverbial form, and I learned those cards. I manually expanded my vocabulary, and I burnt those cards in shame about 10 years ago because I thought, well, I'm fake. I'm like a Russell Brand using fake long words. I was ashamed. So this is.
By the way, what does impudent mean?
If you're really bold or cheeky, impudent. So I kept getting.
Write that down.
The grades got higher and higher and higher.
Yeah,
and I got first. I was the only one to get a first. And I won an academic award for Eden Ravecroft's Prize for Academic Excellence, and that's how I ended up in an ad agency. I was headhunted for having unusual ability with English language and creativity.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And of course, once I got there, I got taught structure, economy of language, how to suddenly pay something off at the end to sell. Well, guess what? A fucking good comedy show is.
Yeah.
Language, energy, structure.
Yeah,
mate. And that's what I did between 19 and fucking 28.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. One more thing before I let you go. And it's been absolutely incredible talking to you. Thank you for being so open.
Yeah.
And it really is interesting. So
what do you think of that?
It's an extraordinary journey that you've taken.
Can I ask your
to
opinion?
comedy. Yes.
Can I ask your opinion? I still don't know whether it's embarrassing that I did that with English.
Absolutely not.
Because
is that the question? That's absolutely not embarrassing. If that's the question.
Because do you know how I decided?
Absolutely not.
Do you know how I
find
decided
it
when
incredibly impressive and admirable and
but think about it. If you went into a bar tonight and tried to use the word impudent non-ironically, because I've just taught you, how stupid and fake would you feel? You would admit it. You would feel, stop being impudent.
Well, I think I'm at the wrong age. You know, I'm 39, so that's kind of perhaps when I was younger. Perhaps when I was in my 20s, I may feel uncomfortable.
But you're still fake. You're still a fake person using a word to show off.
Well, if that's why you're using it, but if you're using it in the right context because you want to grow and you want to extend your vocabulary, then I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of.
I had such a weird relation. I didn't tell anyone. I've only recently started talking about it in interviews.
But I mean, but look at your background, Russell. I mean, just look in everything we've spoken about. Of course, you were going to feel that way. You had entered a world that, in many ways, you weren't meant to.
True.
You know, and so you were going to feel that there might have been a bit of imposter syndrome, or you might have felt quite fraudulent, even though you shouldn't have done.
I feel like
it would be natural to be in that world and be, you've told me how. You with these people and the people who went to public school, and you're instantly an outsider in that.
Yeah.
And no wonder that you got a view of the world that would mean that you would go on stage and be the person that everyone else is facing.
And still to this day, and it's interesting. I know I've referenced Russell Brand a lot. I don't know why, but maybe it's my namesake, and I'm interested in how he uses language.
Yeah, there is that. But also Russell, it's not just that, is it? There's someone that's climbed out of where they were, kind of out of, not the guts, so you had a nice life, but there was someone climbing the ladder of society that perhaps they weren't meant to.
But park the Christianity and all the weird sex stuff and all the stuff, reason we probably shouldn't talk about Russell Brand. Before that, I used to find it really interesting. I don't particularly like his comedy, and it's not how I would phrase things. I like simple language. But it did wind me up. If he went, the children are being obstreperous outside, some posh cunt would go, oh, he has to use long words. But if someone like
I know
Miles...
what obstreperous means, I'm really happy.
But if someone like Miles Jupp, Stuart Lee or Robin Ince used it, we would not criticise them.
No.
So it's like you have a licence to use other parts of the English language based on how posh you are.
Yeah.
How fucking unfair is that?
Yeah.
That's a hidden... There's loads of hidden prejudices in our society. I fucking hate racism. I hate sexism. I hate all the ones we're supposed to hate. But what about all the other ones that we don't hate?
No, absolutely. And that's why you're so remarkable, is that you managed to get through all of that. And I think I think what's quite unique about you, it's strange. Now I don't even know if we're doing the podcast, but I think what's so unique about your journey is that sometimes in stand-up, but I can only use stand-up as an example. My knowledge of other art forms and other industries.
You started young as well, didn't you?
I started young, but you kind of tend to, emphasize and exaggerate whatever it is you are at that point. So if you are posh, then you'll be really posh. You'll go on stage and you'll be the posh guy. And if you're a working class, if you're a geezer, you'll go and you accentuate that.
Very true.
And people go, that's the geezer. And what's unique about you is that you kind of haven't done that. And although, yes, you still got the accent and whatnot, you've not been ashamed to, on stage, to go out and show people that, well, actually, you tried to climb the social ladder and are not ashamed of that. And I think that's I think that's remarkable and really unique.
You. I think it might even be what my comedy's about on some level. Do you know, Chris Ramsey described me as a walking Venn diagram.
Yeah. That's it.
The crossover is
That's it. That's exactly it. Well,
mate, that was fucking great.
Well, look,
I'm sorry I wasn't very funny, but you've asked me questions that made me go deep.
You're a very funny man, and if people want, you to make them laugh, then they can follow your socials and go and see you on tour.
I've said this before. I'll say it on camera. I've only paid or gone and got a hotel to see 3 comedians since I started comedy. Everyone else I've watched because I'm at a festival and I have to watch them at the side of the stage. But I have been to watch you. Yes. I went and watched you in Leeds. I also go to watch Stuart Lee, and weirdly
Yes.
Paul Chowdhury, who terrifies me. I sit in the second row,
Yeah.
and Catherine Ryan. Better put a girl in, but I do love what you do, and
Yeah,
that
sweet.
show, the first one you did after all that horrible stuff that happened to you, was very much like. I didn't like it in a narcissistic way because it was like one of my shows, but I was surprised when I went there. I was like, wow, that went as deep as one of my shows.
Yeah. Well, bless you. But yeah,
and,
thank you very much.
and it was upsetting and moving, but
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. And also the fact you'd pulled a muscle in your back and had to do some dance at the end did make me laugh because I knew you were on ibuprofen and shit.
Yes, thank you very much. And I always, I think one of the highest compliments you could give a comedian. Now this has just turned to a loving, is I always make sure that I stay and watch you if you're on. I think that's the highest compliment.
We don't go and watch
If
comedians.
you're on a bill,
Yeah.
you go, well, I'm staying because Russell's on.
Yeah.
And look, thank you so much for coming on.
Ah,
I
man.
normally ask whoever I'm talking to kind of give a piece of advice to someone that might be listening or might be watching that has had a similar journey and is kind of at the furthest point away from where you are now. But I think
my Nan sentence would do it. Laugh in the world laughs with you and crying you're a cunt.
Yeah.
But a lot of the advice, because I do get a lot of, I'm really, really privileged in that a lot of men reach out to me. And I'm a comedian who doesn't traditionally connect with, Terry's and Dave's and alpha males. They stopped liking me.
Yes.
Yet they're the fuckers that keep writing to me about their mental health or this or that or advice about marriage and relationships. But the one I get from younger men from my background is they write to me asking exactly what you've just said. How can I get to where you are even though I'm here? And it's always laced with a hint of, I've done one YouTube video, can I open you for you next week in a 2,000 seater, is what they're really asking.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. That's not what I'm asking.
But when they ask that,
Yeah.
there's often a subtext of thinking I'm going to give them that magical
Sure,
break as well.
sure. Yeah.
And I say to them, the best bit of advice I can give, both in answer to your question and in answer to this hypothetical person that's written to me, is you wouldn't go up to the guy in the gym with 5% body fat, really big arms, and go, can I come in and bench press that next week? And he would go, well, not next week, but if you come to the gym every day really slowly and boringly and make small incremental tiny goal-based progress over the next 5 years, you probably will end up looking like me. And everything else you do in life is the same. So instead of looking at someone like me who's about to go on and play the London Palladium in a month on tour and go, what's the point in trying? What's the first step you could do? The first step you could do would be to write a funny joke and tell it to your mates, or to be a best man at your friend's wedding, or to do a drama class in the evening, or to do a small course. Can you achieve that? So break it down into small incremental goals that you can achieve, rather than going, I want to go to space like Katy Perry, where do I start? And if you do that, you're not asking the guy in the gym with the massive bicep how he got there, because he's going to tell you to fuck off because he's eaten chicken breast and had no life for 10 years. Well, it's the same with anything, I'm afraid. Slow incremental progress, hard work and total dedication for 5 years, you're probably going to achieve something.
I'm just disappointed to find out I can't go to space like Katy Perry.
You can, though.
But I
you
can,
might do
just
one day.
incrementally. All
All
right,
me and
thank
you have got to do is
Russell.
crack a format, sell it to Netflix. Space travel's going to be affordable in 10 years. We'll be on the fucking moon, haven't it, mate?
Okay, right. I'll speak to my agent. Russell Kane, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And where the show you just mentioned is at the
When does this go out?
In the next month.
Yeah, so I've been on the road since January 24. I wasn't supposed to extend for this long. It finishes in December 25. Most of the UK ones are done now, but I don't really have a bad seat when you come to see me because I move so fucking much. So don't be put off if it's a circle or an up.
Yes, don't worry. I can confirm that.
I will hit you. The international dates, they need a lot of help. So if you live anywhere in Europe or Canada, please buy tickets.
Yes, we do. No, we have listeners all around the world. So you know where to do that. RussellKane.com.
RussellKane.co.uk. Just head there, and I'm doing all kinds of weird places like Antwerp and Bergen. And
yes.
Just create like weird places.
Yeah, that'd be great. I can vouch, as I've very strongly hinted here, Russell is one of the best. So go and check him out. Thanks so much, mate.
My pleasure.
That was the fantastic Russell Kane. An extremely unique story, I think, from Russell. Thoroughly interesting. And I loved every second of it. Thank you, Russell, for doing that. Now, this is very important. We now have a Patreon. Go and check that out. Please subscribe. Allows us to keep on doing the podcast. And you get lots of extra content as well. That's patreon.com/classclown. See you there.